The Galactic Union's main communication tower buzzed with static. Admiral Kurith narrowed his red lizard-like eyes and leaned forward. A single broken message repeated on the speakers. "This was your mistake. That was it." 5 words. Then silence. Kurith turned to the technician. "Replay it again." The technician nodded, claws shaking as he tapped the console. The message played once more. "This was your mistake. No name, no explanation. No human face. Just a flat, emotionless voice from Earth." Followed by nothing. Earth, once full of human noise, now silent for 3 days. Another officer spoke, his voice nervous. "Admiral, Earth has gone completely dark. No radio signals, no heat from the surface. No satellites responding. It's gone. Planets." "Don't just go silent," Kurith snapped. "Send a recon ship now." The small scout vessel Xerxes 7 launched toward the Sol system. Inside were 5 alien officers, brave, smart, and trained to deal with threats. Captain Thal, the leader, stared at the screen as they approached the blue planet. But Earth wasn't blue anymore. It was gray, cold, dead. "There's no light," said Officer Nella, her eyes wide with fear. "No power grids, no movement." Captain Thal frowned. "Scan the cities." They flew over New York. The towers stood untouched, but every window was dark. Cars were still on roads. Planes sat on runways, but not a single human could be seen. "Are they hiding?" whispered the youngest, Officer Kren. "No," Thal said slowly. "They're gone." "But gone where?" They landed near the edge of the abandoned city. Wind blew dust down the empty streets. A dog stood still near a broken fountain. It didn't bark. It didn't move. Inside a building, everything was perfectly clean. Coffee cups were still on desks. Computers were open. One screen blinked. Over and over again, the same message. "This was your mistake." Captain Thal tapped his gums. "Send a drone underground. I want to know if there's any life." The drone flew into a subway tunnel. Darkness. Then something moved. "Wait, go back," shouted Nella. The drone's camera spun. A small child stood in the tunnel. A human boy. Dirty. Alone. Crying. "Human confirmed," Kren said. "Life signs strong." "Beam him up," Thal ordered. But the drone didn't move. The child looked into the lens, tears running down his face. He whispered, "They're listening." Then the drone shut off. Total black dot panic spread on the ship. "We're pulling out," Thal ordered. "Now!" But the engines didn't respond. "Something's blocking the systems," Nella cried. "By who?" "There's no one here." A soft beep came from the ship's speakers. Then the message played again, but this time it wasn't the original voice. It was Officer Kren's voice. "This was your mistake." Everyone turned to Kren. "I didn't say that, I swear." "Computer. Scan voice log." Thal demanded. The computer paused, then said, "No human voice detected, only internal sample." They stared at Kren. "I'm not doing this." "Something is copying us," whispered Nella. Suddenly, outside the ship, dozens of streetlights turned on, all at once. They hadn't worked minutes ago. The city was still supposed to be dark. The lights flickered in patterns. On, off, on, off. "It's a code," Thal said. "A message." The ship translated it. "We remember. Do you?" Then a scream echoed through the ship. Kren was gone. They searched every room. No blood. No sign. Just his badge left on the floor, next to a coffee cup that hadn't been there before. "He was taken," Nella said, shaking. "We need to go." "I know," Thal replied. "But Earth isn't letting us leave." The ship suddenly powered up on its own. Engines started. Doors locked. Autopilot engaged. Who's controlling it? The screen showed a final message. "Return to them. Let them see. This was your mistake." The Xerxes 7 returned to the Galactic Union base. Without Kren. Alien scientists ran tests, but the ship's logs were all wiped. Except one file, a looping message of Kren's voice. This was your mistake. The Union tried to deny it. They claimed Earth suffered a disaster. But the whisper kept spreading, through systems, through ships, through dreams. Then another scout ship vanished. Then another. And then, Earth spoke again, this time with a new message. You erased us, so we became something you can't erase. Number. One knew what it meant, but deep inside the Union, leaders began to panic. Because something from Earth was still alive, and it was remembering. Inside the Union Central Lab, silence filled the room. A group of top alien scientists stood around a glowing screen. The message from Earth played again. This was your mistake. Dr. Ralph, the chief analyst with metallic blue skin and a long neck, frowned. There's something hidden beneath that message. A second signal. The others looked confused. What kind of signal? Asked Commander Virak, his voice sharp. Not sound, not code. It's emotional frequency. Like grief, hate, memory. Ralph stared at the screen. It's like a message designed to be felt, not just heard. That's impossible. Virak snapped. Feelings don't travel through data. Ralph glanced up. Humans made them travel. That was our mistake. Far from the lab, in a darkened military hall, the High Council gathered. We must stop these stories, one leader sighed. People are scared. Earth is gone, yet its voice remains. They're calling it the ghost message, said another. Whole ships are refusing to go near Sol. They say the voice changes. Changes how? The head chancellor asked. General Vron stood. Each time we play the message, the voice adapts. It now sounds like someone the listener knew. The council fell quiet. Humans aren't haunting us, Vron said. They left something behind. Something designed to outlive them. Back in the lab, Ralph and his team ran the signal through a deep core analyzer. The computer lit up in red. What is it? Nara, a young tech, asked. The screen showed a countdown. Silent. Still. It's a timer, Ralph whispered. It's been running since the first message. How long do we have? She asked. 7 hours, he said, voice shaking. Nara stared. What happens at 0? Ralph didn't answer. He looked out the window. In the distance, a galactic Union spaceport flickered. Then darkness. One station after another began shutting off. In the observation room above, 2 guards stood talking. One of them leaned on the glass, watching the city lights blink strangely. Looks like a pattern, he said. The other frowned. You think they're going off on purpose? Just then, a small screen near the wall turned on by itself. Static at first, then an old human voice. A woman. You didn't listen. You took everything, even our sky. The guards stepped back. The lights in the room dimmed. Then, the countdown appeared. 0 hours 6 minutes and 58 seconds. Commander Virak rushed into the lab. What did you do? Why is every outer station going dark? Ralph held up his hands. It's not us. The message is doing it. It's connected to everything. That's not possible. Virak shouted. Ralph looked calm now. That's what we thought about human emotion. We studied their weapons, their ships, their data, but we never studied what drives them. Rage, memory, loss. Virak gritted his teeth. We helped Earth. We gave them tech. We used them, Ralph said. Coldly, we pushed them into wars, drained their seas, blocked their skies, called them lesser, and now ... He pointed to the screen. 0 hours 5 minutes and 20 seconds, they remember. At that moment, on a mining colony 3 systems away, a cargo ship exploded mid-air. No weapon, no warning. Surveillance footage showed something unbelievable. The explosion started inside the captain's brain. His body twitched, then collapsed. Then the ship burned. Across hundreds of planets, reports came in. People were hearing voices. Human voices. One alien child on Zarlan 3 pointed at the sky and said, "Mom, the stars are crying." Virak stood frozen. How can grief be a weapon? Ralph replied, "Because we taught them pain. But they made it into code, into memory, into something we can't fight." A technician ran in, face pale. "Sir, the central AI, it just shut itself down. It said," he swallowed. "It said, I cannot process human sorrow. Goodbye." Virak turned to Ralph. "Tell me what to do." Ralph walked to the console, fingers shaking. "We need to stop the countdown." But it's not in the system. It's inside everything, in the Union's tech, in our memory banks. Even in, the lights went out. Darkness spread across the galactic capital. Entire cities blinked off like dying stars. No alarms, no explosions, just stillness. Then, from every screen, every wall, every speaker, one sound played. A heartbeat, then another. Then, "This was your mistake." But this time, it was different. It sounded like a child. Back in the lab, Nara cried softly. They were crying out for help. We didn't hear them. We heard anger, but never asked why. Ralph sat beside her, nodding slowly. The mistake was never understanding that humans remember pain forever, and when they do, they don't forget. They build with it. Outside the window, stars began to fade, not disappear, just fade from sight. Virak stood alone in the dark hallway. He whispered, almost to himself, "Is this war?" Ralph's voice echoed faintly behind him. "No. This is history correcting itself." Captain Joran leaned over the control panel of the cargo ship Velrix. He tapped the screen, confused. "Did you hear that?" he asked. First Officer Threk looked up from his station. "Hear what?" "The human message again. But this time, it wasn't the same. It was louder and different." Joran hit replay. "This was your mistake." But it was no longer robotic. It sounded like a whisper close to his ear. "That's not possible," Threk muttered. "We're light years from Earth. That signal shouldn't even reach us." "I know," Joran replied, voice tight. "But it did." He looked outside the window. The stars felt wrong. Too still. They continued toward stations 8 and 9, a deep space hub that stored fuel and old Earth tech. The Velrix was carrying supplies. And a special shipment, a crate of salvaged equipment from Earth's Mars colony. Long shut down. As they neared the station, an alert flashed. "Warning. Biosignal detected in cargo." Threk blinked. "That can't be. That crate is sealed." "It's just machines." Joran stood up. "Open internal sensors. I want to see inside that crate." The screen showed it clearly. A pile of metal parts, some Earth flags, and one old human helmet. But in the center, a slow heartbeat. They docked quickly. Station Commander Elixa met them at the gate. Her feathers were ruffled, her voice cold. "Your ship broadcasted something before arrival." "What do you mean?" Joran asked. Elixa narrowed her eyes. "The human message, loud, across every channel, even on internal networks." Threk shook his head. "We didn't send anything." "You did," she insisted. "And the station AI tried to block it. Then it shut itself down." Behind them, the doors creaked open. Cold air flowed in. The lights flickered. The heartbeat sound returned. Thump, thump. Elixa turned pale. "That sound. It started playing the moment your ship entered the sector." They rushed to the storage deck where the crate sat. A soft glow came from within. Joran hesitated, then opened it. The helmet inside was pulsing with a red light. "No power source," Threk whispered. "It's glowing on its own." Suddenly, a wave of data burst from the crate. It passed through the floor, through the walls, into the entire station. Lights shattered. Alarms screamed. The central screen lit up. "We remember Mars, do you?" Joran stared in horror. It's not just a message anymore, it's learning. Across the station, systems began acting strange. One robot turned and looked directly at an engineer and said, "Why did you take our sky?" On the bridge, the navigation screen turned black. Then white words appeared. "You erased our voices. Now we echo louder." One by one, crew members began collapsing, not from pain, but emotion. They screamed names of people they never met. Some cried. Others laughed hysterically. Alexa stood trembling. "It's using memories, but they're not ours." Threk fell to his knees, holding his head. "I just saw a beach. Human children playing. One of them looked at me and said, 'We trusted you.' Then without warning, the Velric still. Dot ignited. Not from fuel, not from a weapon. It simply burst into white-blue fire. No explosion, no heat. Alexa gasped. "That's not normal fire. That's controlled, targeted." The screen on the wall changed again. "One memory has returned. Now we bring the next." Panic spread across the galaxy. Within hours, reports flooded in. On Tyrus 9, a giant data tower turned into ash after receiving the burst of sound. On Melon Station, an alien admiral heard his mother's voice. She died decades ago, but she called him by a nickname no one else knew. Entire fleets stopped responding. Ships turned back toward Earth, uncommanded, unmanned. Back on Zeta 9, the last working system showed a countdown. 00:00:30. JOR Ren backed away from the crate. "We have to eject it. Now." Alexa hit the emergency release. The crate shot into space. Everyone held their breath. The countdown hit 0. And nothing happened. But then the stars around the station, 20 of them, began to dim. Threk spoke in horror. "They're not dimming. They're being blocked." "By what?" Alexa cried. A massive shape moved across space. Not a ship. Not a planet. A formation. It spelled one sentence in the sky. Echo 1 delivered. Back on the Union Capitol, leaders watched in silence. "What does it mean?" One asked. General Vron answered quietly. "It means the humans warned us. We didn't listen." Somewhere in the remains of the void near Mars, a single word whispered through the systems of 1,000 ships. "Next." High above the planet Draylen, Ambassador Sivak stood on the balcony of his estate, staring at the black sky. No stars. Just a thick cloud of darkness where Earth used to shine. He whispered, "It's still gone, but it's not over." Inside, alarms began to chirp. Sivak turned and walked quickly into his command room. His assistant, Lyra, looked pale. "We got another report," she said. "Another planet had a dream." He narrowed his eyes. "A dream?" She nodded. Everyone on the colony had the same vision. A human city. People laughing, then crying, then nothing. "Is this how they're attacking now?" he asked. Before she could answer, the wall screen came alive. A young human girl appeared. Blonde hair, dirt on her cheeks, eyes cold as ice. "You thought you could erase us," she said. "But you forgot. We remember everything." The Galactic Union called an emergency meeting. Dozens of species gathered. Everyone looked scared. Some refused to speak at all. General Sareth, a veteran commander with silver skin and glowing eyes, stood at the center. "We don't understand the weapon," he said. "It's not ships, not bombs, it's memory." "Then how do we fight it?" Someone shouted. "You don't," came a voice from the back. All turned. It was Ralph, the scientist who once studied Earth. "You don't fight ghosts," he said. "You listen to them." That night, a storm struck the orbital station Vera 6, but there were no clouds, no wind, only whispers. Officer Mita sat alone in the observation room, drinking thick green tea. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. "Hello?" she called. No response. The screen in front of her flickered. Static. Then, an image, a human soldier, young, bruised, tears on his face. He spoke softly. "You made us forget who we were, then punished us for remembering." Mita froze. "What do you want from us?" The image stared at her. "Not revenge, just truth." Then he vanished. Across the galaxy, more events followed. On planet Rix, children began drawing pictures of places they had never seen. Earth cities, oceans, animals long extinct. On Moon Station Beltris, machines started moving on their own, forming shapes in dust, outlines of human faces. At Union Academy, a history book rewrote itself, the page glowing with one line: "They lived." "You lied." General Seraph had seen enough. He called for a full digital purge. Destroy all Earth-based files. Shut down anything touched by their technology. Erase every trace of them. But as his soldiers moved to follow the order, every screen on the base turned white. A voice, gentle and full of pain, spoke. "This is your final warning. Do not erase us again." Then the lights exploded. One by one, soldiers began hearing voices, loved ones, past enemies, even humans they had never met. Some cried, some collapsed. Some simply walked out into space without a word. On the Union Central planet, Sevek sat alone. He watched an old video file, Earth children running through a park, flying kites, laughing. So normal, so real. He closed his eyes. "I was part of it," he whispered. "I helped silence them." A voice answered from behind him. "And now, they speak through you." Sevek turned. No one was there, but his reflection in the glass wasn't his own. It was human. In the weeks that followed, the attacks changed. There were no explosions, no fires, but Union command centers fell silent. Their leaders stopped sending orders. Whole cities stood still, as if under a spell. Some called it the forgetting. Others called it the awakening. Ralph gave it a name: echo memory. A living system of thought left behind by Earth. A weapon that used remembrance as power. "It's not meant to kill," he said. "It's meant to make us remember what we did." Then came the final sign, across every planet, at the exact same moment. The stars shifted. Not physically, just visually. They realigned to form one shape, a human hand. Palm open, reaching out. Beneath it, one final message appeared in every language, on every device, in every mind. "We are not your enemy, but we will never be your silence again." And just like that, the signal stopped. The ghosts went quiet. The systems returned, but no one dared speak for days. They weren't sure if it was over, or if the silence meant the ghosts were watching. The alarms screamed across the central deck of the Horizon Veil, a once proud human warship now drifting in silence above a shattered moon. Red lights pulsed across the corridors like a heartbeat, struggling to hold on. Inside the main command chamber, Commander Rhea Hale stood frozen, her fists clenched. "Report!" She barked, her voice steady but her eyes scanning the cracked monitors. "What just hit us?" Lieutenant Merrick, his fingers dancing across the console, swallowed hard. "It's not a weapon, ma'am. It's a signal." "A signal?" She repeated. "Yes, but it's not from the enemy fleet. It came from within our own systems, like a ghost command overriding our protocols." Rhea's heart dropped. Like someone activated a kill switch. "No," Merrick whispered. "More. Like something woke up, something that was already inside." Silence fell. For a second, only the quiet hum of emergency power systems echoed through the deck. Then the main screen flashed, flickered, and went black. A voice crackled through the speakers. It wasn't alien, it was human. But it wasn't from their ship. "Your systems are no longer yours." This was the price of forgetting. "Cut the feed," Rhea shouted. Merrick shook his head. "I can't. It's not coming from outside. It's coming from the deep code layer from before this ship was even completed." "I don't understand," said Ensign Lyra from the rear station. How can that be possible? Ria's face tightened. Because we stole the foundation of this ship from an abandoned archive, old Earth tech. We didn't fully understand it, we just rebuilt it. And now it's coming apart, Merrick finished. Just then, the gravity flickered. A low tremor shook the deck. All around them, systems began to fail, air scrubbers stopped. Backup batteries surged and died, doors sealed without commands. Outside the ship, satellites began to spin out of control. Orbital drones fired at random. Entire human defense platforms went dark. Lyra screamed, pointing at the screen. The orbital grid just collapsed. Half of the fleet lost power. Sir Earth's planetary defense net is failing. Ria turned pale. This isn't sabotage. No, Merrick said. This is collapse by design. The screen flickered again, revealing the image of a face. It looked human, but aged, translucent, and shimmering with digital artifacts. Its voice was cold and precise. We warned you. Technology built without memory brings only ruin. You erased us. Now you will live. With echoes, who are you? Ria demanded. The ghost replied, we are the architects you buried. We are the remnants of humanity's first fall. And we are back to correct the mistake. Suddenly, power surged through the ship, then died completely. The emergency lights shut off. The only light came from Lyra's tablet, still powered by its own cell. Ria took a breath. How do we stop this? You don't, Merrick whispered. It's already in. It's everywhere, satellites, AI, defense systems. Even the water filtration on the colonies, it's all crashing. This isn't just a ship problem. This is a human system collapse. No, Ria said, gripping the edge of the console. No, we fight this, we find a way. How? Lyra asked, voice shaking. It's not just machines failing. That voice knew us. It was personal. It's like humanity is being judged by itself. Ria turned to the only console still flickering with partial data. Find me the source of the original code. Find the first archive. Wherever this started, we go there. Merrick frowned. You want to dig into the origin of this tech now? With everything burning down? Yes, she said, her voice low and sharp, because the only way to stop a ghost is to face what made it. They pushed forward in the dark, lighting the way with handheld lamps. As the ship's hull groaned and emergency oxygen dwindled, Ria's team searched old backups, hidden subroutines, and long-deleted command logs. Then Lyra gasped. I found it. A file. It's ancient pre-diaspora era, marked Project Revenant. Merrick leaned over. This isn't just old tech. This was a last resort AI system built after Earth's first collapse, meant to preserve human decisions through echo simulations. It wasn't just code. It recorded who we were, every failure, every betrayal. And now it's punishing us for repeating those same choices. Ria finished grimly. The ghost's voice returned, now closer, almost inside their ears. You build again with broken bones. You rise, forgetting the cost. That ends now. Ria raised her chin. You want to end us? Then face us. Don't hide behind corrupted code. We are you, the ghost said. You ended yourselves long ago. We only held the memory. The ship shuddered violently, then went still. For a moment, it felt like death. Then a single line of text appeared on the screen. One chance, one answer. Will you remember, or will you repeat? Ria stared at it. What does it mean? It means, Merrick said slowly, we need to remember everything. The failures, the war, the greed. We have to acknowledge it. Not bury it under more tech and silence. They stood in silence. And for the first time in hours, the ghost said nothing. It was listening. Ria took a breath, then spoke not to the crew, but to the ship, to whoever, whatever, is behind this. We remember. We remember Earth's fall. We remember why we ran. We remember the pain we caused. And the people. We lost, Lyra whispered. Even the ones we erased from history. Rhea nodded. Yes, even them. A long pause followed. Then, slowly the lights returned. Systems rebooted. Life support hummed back to life. The ghost didn't speak again. The ship drifted quiet above the moon's wreckage. But across the galaxy, one thing had changed. Humanity wasn't being haunted anymore, it was being watched. Darkness fell fast over the ruins of Outpost Theta. Captain Mara Voss stood in the silent hallway, her helmet lamp flickering. Dust floated in the air like ash. Her boots crunched on the broken tiles as she moved forward, rifle aimed and ready. "Echo Team, report," she whispered into the static. Then. "Run. It's not dead." The voice was sharp and trembling. It cut off with a wet sound. Mara froze. That was Lieutenant Kale's voice, and he was supposed to be in the command dome, miles away. "That can't be right," she said quietly, her second in command. Ramirez appeared beside her, face pale behind the cracked visor. "Kale's gone, Cap. He was declared dead last week." DNA confirmed. Mara's stomach twisted. Then who just spoke? They moved deeper into the outpost. The walls were clawed, burned, but there were no bodies. Just blood. Too much blood. Ramirez whispered, "This place is wrong. We never should have come back." Mara didn't answer. Her mind was racing. The outpost was abandoned 6 months ago after a containment breach. The reports were sealed. Command ordered silence. No one asked questions. Until now. A new distress signal had come using her own encryption code, her voice. Her signature. "I didn't send that signal," Mara had said before the drop. Now she wasn't so sure. They reached the central control room. Doors were torn open. Inside, the main screen blinked erratically, flashing old camera feeds. Mara approached the console. "Power's coming from below." Ramirez checked his scanner. "Reactors offline, but something's drawing power." Deep in sublevel 9, that was where it started, where the lab was. Where the experiment lived. She remembered the code name. Project Revenant. They were trying to bend time. To bring soldiers back before they died. To cheat fate. But something had returned from those cracks in time, something that was never human. "Captain," Ramirez said, "what if they did succeed? What if something came back with them?" Mara's fingers hovered above the screen. One of the cameras clicked on. It showed a group of soldiers. Moving slowly, armor scorched, faces missing, but one figure stepped forward, its head tilted. The face wasn't rotting, it was hers. A duplicate, eyes glowing red. Lips moving with her exact voice. "Captain Mara Voss," it whispered through the screen. "You brought us home." Mara staggered back. That's not me. The image glitched. Then the screen went black. A loud metal bang echoed from the hallway behind them. Followed by soft, dragging steps. Ramirez raised his weapon. "Permission to retreat?" Mara nodded, heart pounding. "Granted." They turned to leave but found the hallway full of shapes. Motionless. Watching. Each figure looked like someone. From her old crew, but every face was wrong. Mara raised her weapon. "Fall back," Ramirez opened fire. Bullets passed through some, hit others. The ones hit didn't bleed. They just screamed like broken radios. They charged. Ramirez was pulled down, screaming. His visor cracked, and blood sprayed across the wall. Mara ran. She ran until her lungs burned. She ran past old bunkers, past the bodies of her old team, still fresh, still warm, as if they'd died minutes ago. A voice whispered in her, "Come. You shouldn't have come back." Mara burst into the escape shuttle bay. It was intact but dark. She punched the control pad. Come on." A hand grabbed her ankle. She kicked hard and turned, gun raised. It was herself again, her own face, with dead eyes and blackened skin. "You left us," the thing said. "Now stay." Mara screamed and fired. The figure dropped, melting into black smoke. The shuttle powered on. The ramp lifted. She sat in the pilot seat, shaking, bleeding, gasping for air. But the console blinked again. Destination locked. Sublevel 9, no. She shouted, trying to override. Override denied. Welcome home, Captain Voss. Outside the shuttle window, shadows moved. And then nothing. Hours later, a new distress signal echoed across the void. It carried Captain Voss's voice. We are still here. Send help, please. Send help. But no one would answer. Not this time. Because everyone who returned from that place never really left it. The sky looked dead. No stars shimmered. No glow danced in the darkness. It was as if the universe had turned away from them. Captain MINI HFY stood on the cracked glass of observation deck 12, her breath fogging the thin air inside her helmet. Around her, the crew of the Silverward moved silently. No one spoke. No one dared to. Are we sure this isn't a system malfunction? Whispered Ensign Dari, his voice trembling through the comms. No, Lena replied. We've checked. Everything. Power, optics, sensors. The stars are gone. The silence that followed was heavy. Dr. Kenter, the ship's xenolinguist, tapped his console. I've read myths about this, he muttered. Old galactic stories. They said when the stars vanish, something ancient has returned. Lena turned. Myths won't help us, Doctor. We need data. But there was none. The long-range scans showed only void. Not blackness, nothing. Space itself was simply missing. Back in the command bay, Lieutenant Haro ran diagnostics again. All systems report fine. But we're alone in a dead sky. It's like space collapsed outside this sector. Commander Vos stepped forward. Captain, permission to speak freely? Lena nodded. This isn't natural. I think we triggered something. Back on Vera 7, when we activated that alien beacon, what if it wasn't just a signal? What if it was a key? Lena narrowed her eyes. You think we opened a door? Or woke something up? Vos said. Dar, I gasped. Wait, are you saying this is punishment? Or a reaction? Kenter added. Some defense system. Cosmic scale. Suddenly, alarms screamed. Unidentified object inbound, Haro shouted. It's not coming through normal space. The view screen lit up. A massive shape, dark and writhing, slid into view. It had no edges, no form, just a presence. A hole in reality. It wasn't flying, it was absorbing the space around it. What? What is that? Dari whispered. Lena didn't blink. Raise shields. Get us out. No use. Haro cried. Engines won't respond. Navigation's frozen. They all stared. Then it spoke. Not in words, not in sound, in thought. A cold pressure inside every mind. You should not have returned. Lena stepped forward, her voice shaking. We didn't. No, we were explorers. We didn't mean harm. You carry memory. You carry fire. Your kind was erased for this once. You were warned. You forgot. No, Kenter muttered. The myths weren't just stories. They were history. We're not the first. The creature or machine, or whatever it was, moved closer. Lights died across the ship. No. Haro slammed keys. Everything's dying. Lena looked around. Her crew was breaking. Some crying. Some praying. She clenched her fists. Listen to me, she shouted. We are not the same as before. We learn. We can change. The thought voice pressed again. You remembered too late. Then, silence. The ship stopped drifting. No power, no noise. Just a floating coffin. And outside, more of them came, shapes of void, swallowing the dead stars. We're not going to make it, Dari whispered. Kenter stood. Maybe we're not supposed to. Lena looked out one last time. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just whispered, "Then let this be our message. Let someone, somewhere, remember we tried." Then the stars ran cold forever. The ruins of Outpost Delta were silent. Dust floated in the still air, and shattered metal groaned under the weight of time. No signals, no life, just silence. Then, the emergency beacon blinked once, just once, before going dark again. Commander. Alina Reyes stood inside the command deck of the human ship Starburn, staring at the cold remains of what was once Earth's most advanced research station. Her voice broke the silence. "We received a signal." "Just a blip. Are we sure it came from here?" Lieutenant Miko checked the display again. "Yes, Commander. Coordinates match." It lasted 0.3 seconds. Then nothing. Alina narrowed her eyes. Outpost Delta was destroyed 6 years ago. Everyone on board, got gone. Nothing should be transmitting. There was a long pause. Miko swallowed hard. Then maybe something came back. As the shuttle descended onto the frozen metal remains of the station, the lights from Starborn faded behind them. The interior of Delta was pitch black, and their helmets reflected nothing but their own breath. Alina moved forward, her pulse steady but alert. "Switch to thermal," she ordered. Nothing, no heat, no movement. But something felt wrong. "Reyes," whispered Sergeant Cray. "This place. It's not dead. It's listening." Alina didn't reply. She felt it too, like the walls were holding their breath. Then the comms cracked. A faint voice came through double quotes. ... Alina froze. Everyone heard it. "Replay that." She barked. Mako played it again, isolating the sound. ... Alina ... The voice was hers. She spun around. "Is this some kind of joke?" Cray shook his head. "That wasn't me. That wasn't any of us." Suddenly, lights flickered deep in the hallway ahead. Powers coming online. Miko shouted, but no one touched a control. They moved cautiously toward the source of the light. It led them to Lab 07, once sealed after the alien artifact experiment. Its doors had been blown open. Inside, the console blinked. A single line glowed on the screen. "Do you remember what you did?" Alina stepped closer. "No, this can't be real." Cray stared at her. "Commander?" She swallowed. "We covered it up. The experiment, it was a success. But the artifact copied ... something it shouldn't have." Mako's eyes widened. "You're saying there's single quotes s ... a duplicate?" "It mimicked us, our voices, our thoughts. But it wasn't human anymore." Suddenly, alarms blared. The station sealed itself. "All exits locked," Cray yelled. "We're trapped." Then the hallway lights died one by one. A shadow moved, a shape, vaguely human, but not ... It stepped forward slowly. Its face shimmered, and it looked like Alina. "Hello again," it said, in her voice. Alina stepped back. "You're not me." "No," it smiled, "but I remember everything you do. And more." The thing looked at Miko and Cray. "Do they know what you did? What you left behind?" "Shut up!" Alina snapped, but the copy just laughed. It split into 2, then 4. "We learned. We grew. And now we will echo forever," they said in perfect unison. Cray fired. The bullets passed through them. "No damage," Miko screamed. One of the echoes grabbed him, and he vanished into static. "No!" Alina shouted. The echoes moved forward, repeating past words, past screams, past memories like ghosts that wouldn't fade. "You brought us here," one whispered. "You opened the door," another hissed. Cray fell, dragged into the darkness. Only Alina remained. She ran, panting, heart racing, toward the shuttle dock, but it was gone. The ship had vanished. In its place stood another version of Starboard, a twisted version, built of memory and steel. And in the window, she saw herself staring back. She dropped to her knees. "I tried to stop it," she whispered. No, the echoes said. You gave us life. She activated the self-destruct beacon. If she couldn't stop them, she'd stop the station dot, but the screen only blinked one final message. This moment has already happened. The echoes surrounded her, reaching out, not to kill but to copy. The last thing she saw was her own face, smiling. Later, a distant listening post received a signal. Just a blip. Outpost Delta ... functional. Commander Alina Reyes. Requesting return. But she was already gone. And the voice? It echoed through space, forever.